Hello there, welcome to day 4 of daily activities. I'm gonna move on to day 4 and let's see what we have. And we're actually on your books in case you haven't seen it yet. So, yeah, let's move to day 4. So, right here it says we have new books. I'm gonna read to you one chapter of one of the books. It's the one that I think is interesting. I don't know about you. And then I'm letting you off with one activity, and there's one more thing that I want to do that's real quick. Um, that I want to just show you because we have new books. So hang on, let's get there. So yeah, we have new books as it says at the top over here. So these are the new books, and you can always come here and read the summaries if you want. So let's go to the book. And the one that I thought was interesting was the Genius Files. So I'm gonna do this. Okay, so chapter 1, Coke and Pepsi. There were 10 items on Coke McDonald's to-do list on June 17th, but jump off a cliff was not one of them. Clean out my locker was on the list. Pick up my yearbook was on the list. Get my birthday present for Pep was on the list. Pack for summer vacation was on the list, but nothing about jumping off a cliff. And yet, oddly enough, jumping off the cliff was the one thing that Coke McDonald's was actually going to do on June 17th. Not only was he going to jump off a cliff, but first he was going to push his twin sister Pepsi. Now, before we get to the cliff jumping part of the story, maybe I better explain something. Why would anyone in their right mind name their children Coke and Pepsi? It was probably because Dr. Benjamin McDonald and his lovely wife Bridget weren't in their right minds when the twins were born almost 13 years old earlier. For one thing, the McDonalds did not know that they would be having twins until after Coke entered the world. The doctors and nurses had pretty much taken off their latex gloves and called it a day when Miss McDonald informed them that she felt a funny feeling deep inside, as if she weren't quite finished. And and behold, and behold, she was absolutely right. The doctors and nurses went back to work, and the next thing anybody knew, out popped a bouncing baby girl. Surprise! From the start, the McDonald's had decided to name their son Coke, not because of the soft drink, because of coal. According to dictionary.com, Coke is a solid product of resulting from the destructive distillation of coal in an oven or closed chamber by imperfect combustion, consisting principally of carbon. Go ahead, look it up if you don't believe me. I'll wait. Okay, did you look it up? Good. Dr. McDonald had a history Doctor McDonald, a history professor at San Francisco State University, had written a scholarly book about coal's impact on the Industrial Revolution. He always thought Coke would make a good name for a boy. It's short, sweet, it has that hard K sound, like Kodak, Kathmandu, Kalamazoo. When Coke's twin sister popped out, Doctor and Miss McDonald were faced with a dilemma. Once you name your firstborn son Coke, you can't very well name his twin sister Rachel or Emily or anything too normal. It wouldn't sound right. How about Pepsi? One of the attending nurses suggested as a joke. Coke and Pepsi. Everyone at the birthing room had a good old laugh over that. But the McDonald's thought about it, the more they liked the idea. Coke and Pepsi. It was perfect. Not only that, but it fit their sensibilities. The McDonald's were second generation hippies from San Francisco who had always disapproved of the rampant commercialization of the society. Dr. McDonald was fond of telling his students that the average person living in a city sees up to 5,000 advertisements every day. 5,000 ads. What better way to stick it to the man than to name your kids Coke and Pepsi? It would be an ironic statement of how corporations control people's lives. Heck, their last name was already McDonald. Why not name the kids Coke and Pepsi? Naturally, the local media picked up on the baby names. The Coca-Cola and Pepsi-Cola companies were not happy at first. They made some noises about suing the family, giving babies the same names as popular soft drink was an infringement of the company's copyright, and the lawyers grumbled. Yeah, as if consumers would confuse the infants with sugary carbonated beverages. In the end, the corporate giants decided that kids named Coke and Pepsi would be the best advertising they could ever have, and it didn't cost them a dime. This, they agreed, was even better than having kids named Jimmy and Susie walk around wearing Coke and Pepsi t-shirts. Of course, growing up with the name Coke and Pepsi can be tough, especially in middle school. Both of the twins encountered a good deal of ribbing when they got to sixth grade, especially Pepsi. Hey, Soda Girl, you're flat. But the thing is, no matter how unusual someone's name is, after you hear it a few dozen times, the name starts to fit the person, like a comfortable pair of jeans. You can't imagine that boy or girl ever having a different name. Eventually, kids stop looking at Pepsi and think of high fructose corn syrup. We humans have a way of adapting to things. Hardly anybody called her Pepsi anywhere. To most of the kids at West Marion Middle School, and just about everybody who knew her, she was Pep, simply Pep. Anyway, it could have been a lot worse. The McDonald's could have named the twins Mountain Dew and Sprite. A few years back, there was a New Jersey couple who named their son Adolf Hitler. Go ahead, look it up if you don't believe me. Now that kid is going to have issues. Ordinarily, in a story, this is where the author tells the readers the main character, or in this case, characters, look like. The author might go on for page after page, a painting a glorious word of picture of Coke and Pep's hair, their faces, the way they walk, talk, and the way they dress, and so on. But you know what? Who cares? Do you really care what Coke and Pep look like? Does it really matter to you? It's boring. By the time you get to chapter 3, you will have forgotten the description you read back in chapter 1 anyway. Coke and Pep are 12-year-old twins about to turn 13 in a week, okay? Enough said. That's all you need to know right now. You really want to know what they look like? Look at the cover of this book. Go ahead. I'll wait. Okay. Now that we got that out of the way, let's move on to the good part where Coke and Pep go over the cliff. Okay, well, that was interesting, right? So you can read that book if you want. You can also read whichever other book you want. That's the book I chose for today's daily activities. Remember, if you have any questions, you may post them in the comments, feedback area, or email me. And I'm hoping that I will see some of you guys' comments in the book chat, and I'm also hoping that I'll have um lots of um like good comments about the books, because I really hope that I picked out good books for you guys. Anyways, I will see you later. Bye.